Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Tonight, we gently return to the past, to a time of quiet discipline and refined ritual. This is unusual daily life, history for sleep, where we invite you to drift gently into the rhythms of forgotten eras. If you find peace in these stories, consider subscribing. We have new, calming journeys every week. In this episode, we travel to Edo period Japan, around the early 1700s. The country is peaceful. The great battles of old are long past. Yet one class of warriors, the samurai, still walks a path of honor and devotion. Tonight, you'll step into the life of one such samurai, not a lord or a general, but a mid-ranking retainer in the Tokugawa era, a man of modest means, bound by duty, custom, and quiet pride. You live in a small, elegant home on the edge of Edo, in a district lined with tiled roofs and gravel paths. Your home is made of paper walls and polished wood. You serve a regional lord, and your days are shaped by routine, self-discipline, and moments of quiet reflection. Let's begin. In the cool stillness of the morning, you wake before the sun. As always, a faint grey light slips between the wooden slats of your shoshi screen, soft and cold. The air is cool, the scent of tatami mats and old cedar wood comforting and familiar. Your futon lies close to the floor, simple yet enough. With practiced ease, you fold the bedding and place it in the corner, your mind already turning toward the day ahead. The room is still and nearly empty, just the essential furnishings, a low chest, a small calligraphy scroll hanging in the alcove, and the well-worn rack where your katana and wakizashi rest. The swords, of course, are not just tools. They are extensions of yourself, reminders of the long line of duty you have inherited. You step outside briefly into the stone-paved corridor that wraps around the garden. Morning mist curls softly through the pine branches. You rinsed your hands and face at the basin near the entrance. A ritual act, not just for cleanliness, but to cleanse the spirit. You return indoors and kneel before your small altar. A thin stick of incense is lit and placed gently in its holder. The scent is calming, a sandalwood trail rising into silence. You sit, motionless, in meditation. Thoughts arise and are released. There is no hurry, just breath, just awareness, just the quiet ticking of an unseen world. After some time, you rise, prepare a simple bowl of green tea, and drink it slowly. The bitter warmth steadies you. It is not meant to excite, it is meant to center. Now, your attention turns to your swords. You sit on your knees and gently unwrap the soft cloth covering your long blade. You inspect it carefully. The curvature, the hammer line shimmering faintly in the morning light. With care, you wipe it clean and polish it with rice paper, as you do each day. It is a ritual as much as a task, a moment to remember who you are and what you protect. Soon, it is time for Kenjutsu sword practice. You step into the courtyard behind your home, where a small bamboo platform allows you to train without disturbing the gravel. Your movements are slow at first. The basic kata forms passed down for generations unfold from your limbs like water flowing along an ancient path. Then faster, and then stillness again. The wind carries the scent of distant charcoal fires. Somewhere, a caged nightingale sings its clear, descending note. Returning indoors, you change from your practice garments into your kamishimo, your formal samurai attire, a pleated hakama over a crisp kimono with the wide-shouldered vest marking your rank. If no duty is called today, you will wear simpler clothes. But on days like this, it is expected you report to the local administrator as part of your ongoing responsibilities. You adjust your belt. Your wakizashi, the short blade, rests at your side, always carried indoors. The katana, never drawn inside without dire cause, remains sheathed for now. Outside, the city is beginning to stir. You can hear the bamboo clatter of a tofu seller's pole, the distant laughter of children on their way to lessons. A neighbor sweeps the gravel path, her broom soft against the stone. You bow gently at your threshold. The day has begun. The sunlight grows brighter as the hours unfold, casting sharp lines across the courtyard tiles. You take a final look at your appearance, formal, composed, proper, before stepping through the gate and onto the narrow lane outside your home. The city of Edo is alive now. Dust rises from the main roads as sandal-clad feet shuffle past. Merchants shout softly from their stalls, selling fresh tofu, lacquered combs, or rolls of dyed cloth. Monks in grey robes pass in pairs, heads shaved, bowls in hand. Children run with wooden toys. A rickshaw creaks slowly along the path, but you walk with quiet purpose. As a samurai, you're expected to maintain dignity and restraint, especially in public, though the Tokugawa peace has largely removed the need for combat. The values of the warrior class remain: honor, obedience, loyalty, and learning. You arrive at the local magistrate's residence, a simple but imposing wooden structure behind a neatly raked gravel garden. As a retainer of your lord's household, your duties vary. Today, you are here to consult on the readiness of night patrols, a task shared among samurai in your district. Inside, you are greeted with the usual bows. You speak quietly, yet with clarity, as you review the ledgers. The scribes have already laid out the duty rotations. There is little drama here, just the steady rhythm of administration, the slow hum of governance. The magistrate, a thoughtful man with a long beard and deep-lined brow, offers you a cup of warm barley tea. You sip in silence for a while. Occasionally, you share polite observations. The recent temple restoration, the increase in fox sightings near the riverbanks. Such matters, while mundane, are the threads that hold a daily order together. When your formal duties are complete, you leave the compound and walk slowly through the district's streets. You pass a row of shop fronts, carpenters shaving cedar planks, a paper merchant laying out scrolls to dry. You pause to admire a small haiku pinned on the door. The ink brush rests by the well, awaiting the breeze. You find yourself repeating the lines in your head as you walk. Though you carry swords, your mind often drifts toward poetry and history. Like many of your class, you are educated, having studied Confucian ethics, Chinese poetry. The arts are not merely a luxury, they are a way to refine the soul. You stop briefly at a small shrine, its red torii gate, bright against the soft green of moss-covered stones. You place a coin in the offering box and bow twice. The paper omikuji flutter in the breeze. Fortunes tied gently to tree branches. Some hopeful, some warning, all anonymous. Nearby, an old blind biwa player strums a soft, haunting melody. You close your eyes and listen. The music winding through the noise of the city like a thread of silk. You continue walking through Ueno Park, a place of respite. Children feed pigeons near the pond, and an elderly man sits by a bridge, painting the reflection of willow trees in the water. The seasons are shifting. You can feel it in the air. A few early plum blossoms have begun to bloom. Eventually, you make your way back toward home. Before returning, you visit your friend, a fellow samurai of modest means. He's been crafting inkstones lately, enjoying the stillness of this work. Together, you sit under a porch roof, drinking warm rice water and watching the clouds drift. You speak little. You do not need to. The afternoon begins to dim. Your duties are done, and the day now turns inward, toward nourishment, reflection, and rest. You arrive home as the sun begins to dip low, casting a golden wash across the slatted walls and tilting eaves of the houses around you. Your sandals brush softly along the gravel path. A distant bell tolls from a temple on the hill, long and low, calling the day toward rest. Inside your home, the light is softer now. You change from your formal attire into a more comfortable indigo yukata, the fabric slightly worn but well cared for. You place your swords respectfully onto the wooden rack and slide the shoshi screens aside to allow the last of the daylight to spill in. You prepare for your bath, as is customary before the evening meal. In the back of your home is a wooden soaking tub, fed by heated water from a clay stove. The water is warm, and the scent of hinoki cypress from the tub slats calms the mind. You wash first, always before entering the bath, scrubbing quietly with a cloth and rinsing with a wooden ladle. Then, you ease slowly into the steaming water, knees tucked beneath the surface. There are no words in this moment, just warmth, steam, breath. Through the open screen above, you can hear the rustle of bamboo leaves, a bird's evening call, and the faint trickle of water from your small stone garden basin. When the bath is done, you dry yourself with a linen cloth and move toward the airori, the sunken hearth at the center of your room. A kettle simmers gently above glowing coals, and the air carries a scent of roasted miso and lightly charred fish. You prepare your evening meal, modest as always. A bowl of steamed rice, a cup of clear miso soup, a small plate of pickled radish, and a piece of grilled mackerel served on a lacquered dish. There may also be a side of simmered mountain vegetables, gathered earlier in the week, or purchased from a passing vendor. You eat slowly, mindfully, in silence. The food is warm and grounding, the flavors balanced, not meant to indulge, but to nourish. After the meal, you take a moment to tidy the dishes, returning everything to its rightful place. Cleanliness, like order, is a quiet virtue. As the sky darkens to deep blue, you move toward the veranda, where the breeze stirs the paper lanterns you've just lit. Their flickering glow reflects off the pond in your garden. The koi swim lazily beneath the surface, tails casting ripples that shimmer in the evening light. You settle in with a small book of poetry. Perhaps it is a copy of Bashu's latest verses, contemplations of dew, moonlight, and fleeting beauty. Or perhaps you take up your own brush, grinding the ink on a stone, the rhythmic circular motion, a form of meditation in itself. In another part of the district, you hear the faint notes of a shamisen, a neighbor's daughter practicing, her plucked strings rising and falling like the wind itself. Time stretches gently now. You may write a short letter to your cousin in Kyoto, thanking him for the brush he sent last spring. Or you may simply sit with your thoughts, the scent of pine resin mixing with the warm air from the hearth. There is nothing left to do, no orders to follow, no ranks to observe, just this hour, calm and clear, between duty and rest. The sky over Edo has deepened to a rich, velvet black. Far above the rooftops, the stars have begun to glimmer, their light reaching across centuries to softly pierce the night. The waning moon floats low in the eastern sky, pale and quiet, its light reflected in the shallow pond nestled beside your home. A thin mist rises from the garden earth, wrapping the stepping stones in silver breath. The streets beyond your gate have grown silent. The murmurs of evening voices fade. Lanterns extinguish one by one, leaving only the occasional orange flicker behind a shuttered window. A dog barks once in the distance, then no more. A final gust of wind stirs the tops of the cypress trees, and then the world seems to hush in anticipation of night's long exhale. Within your home, the air is still. The wooden beams creak softly as they cool. You move quietly through your rooms, your footsteps nearly soundless on the tatami mats. One by one, you lower the bamboo blinds and slide the paper screens closed, dimming the last of the moonlight. The familiar scent of the house settles around you, aged wood, ink, a faint trace of sandalwood lingering in the fabric of your robe. You pause before your komidana, the small household shrine that honors the protective spirits of your ancestors and the land. Kneeling with care, you light a tiny taper and touch it to the edge of a new stick of incense. The ember glows, and thin blue smoke curls upward into the still air. You bow twice, clap, clap, then bow once more. There is no need for words, only presence, gratitude, the subtle act of honoring what is unseen but deeply felt. You remain kneeling for a while longer, your hands resting lightly on your thighs. The smoke coils upward, the quiet deepens. You allow your thoughts to drift, unhurried, and without judgment. You think of your father's stern face, your mother's song as she once folded laundry in this very room. You think of the rice fields in spring, of cherry blossoms falling into shallow streams, of your lord's household and the slow, patient gears of the world you serve. Eventually, you rise and move to the writing desk, where your tools still sit arranged from earlier in the evening. The inkstone is cool to the touch, its polished surface catching the light of a single nearby lantern. You run a finger across the smooth grain of the bamboo brush, considering whether to write, but tonight you do not. Not every day calls for words. Instead, you open the wooden box that holds your collection of seasonal poems, some copied from old masters, some your own quiet efforts. You select one at random and whisper it aloud. In moon's quiet, pulled the sword sleeps beneath the pine. Stillness, deeper still. You smile faintly. The poem is imperfect, but sincere. You return the box to its drawer and extinguish the brush lamp, leaving only the soft amber flicker of your lantern by the bedside. Now, you prepare to sleep. You unfold your futon once more, laying it carefully across the tatami with practiced grace. The motion is soothing, an inheritance of rhythm passed from one generation to the next. You fluff the pillow, smooth the thin quilt, and align the bedding just so. There is order, even here. Especially here. You change into your sleeping robe, Made of light cotton and washed smooth by years of wear, it smells faintly of ash and summer sun. You kneel by the open screen once more, sipping a final cup of roasted hojicha. The tea cool now, but comforting in its warmth and taste. The bitterness is soft, the roast earthy, a grounding final note to a day well lived. Outside, a faint wind rustles the bamboo wind chimes that hang near the eaves. Then again, a lullaby shaped by nature itself. You settle under your quilt, lying on your side at first, then your back, hands resting lightly upon your stomach. The home around you breathes, quiet creaks, gentle rustles, the far-off bark of a night dog, and the distant splash of koi in the pond. You gaze upward for a time. There is no ceiling, not really, just the soft suggestion of wood, of memory, of thought. You recall your duties, your ancestors, the steady hands that polished your sword, the voices of teachers, the patience of stone lanterns in temple courtyards, all of it, still and floating here with you. You breathe slowly, deeply. Your body softens. The lantern flickers. The wind stirs again. You drift, not just into sleep, but into the still, moonlit silence that cradled your people long before you, and will hold them long after. Thank you for joining us for this quiet journey into the life of a samurai in Edo period Japan. If you found peace here tonight, please consider subscribing. New calming historical journeys arrive every week. Until next time, sleep well, and remember, even the smallest lives are filled with meaning.